So this might be the split heard around the world. It is being said that Jay-Z and Beyonce are headed for divorce amid a potential P. Diddy takedown. So I'm not going to get too deep into the allegations against P. Diddy. We all know what they are. You can Google them. I don't want that energy or conjuring anything on my channel. So you guys can go and check that out. But people are wondering what the hell was going on with Jay-Z and his Grammy speech. As we know, Beyonce has, I think, won the most Grammys in Grammy history, but she's never won for Album of the Year. Her husband, estranged husband, ex-husband, who the hell knows at this point, Jay-Z then went on to do a rant during his acceptance speech for the Dr. Dre Honorary of the Year Award, whatever it's called, in the Grammys, basically being like, the math ain't mathin', y'all need to do better, why hasn't she won yet, all this crazy stuff. Okay? Now, let's watch his acceptance speech. And then I found this mini 3-part series breaking down what might be going on between Jay-Z and Beyonce. And then I'll tell you what I think is going on. So let's watch his speech.
I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't got to clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, you know, it's music and it's opinion-based. But, you know, some things, you know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work. Just in life, you got to keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Forget the Grammys. You got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you feel you deserve. Until they call you chairman. Until they call you a genius. Until they call you the greatest of all time. You feel me?
Poor Blue Ivy. She looked so scared and she looked so shook. It was crazy. Poor Blue Ivy. Now, does this remind you of something? If not, let me refresh your memory.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
So I guess I have to say to all the other winners tonight, I'm really happy for you. And I'm gonna let you finish. But Kanye West has had one of the greatest careers of all time. And right now, I am honored to present the 2015 Vanguard Award to my friend, Kanye West.
I mean, it's giving mental breakdown. It's giving, I'm about to be exposed. Please stay with me. Let's keep this brand intact. I don't want $1 billion divorce. It's giving yikes. Now, this is the thing. And then I'm going to show you guys this 3-part deep dive I found on their alleged divorce and why they are divorcing and everything. But I first want to go into this. So, oh, and shout out to Chocolate Chunks. I believe that's my candy cane. Requested this story. So if you guys have requests for stories or any topics, be sure to DM me and email me and I will cover them on the channel. So this is the thing. Jay-Z, when he was at the Grammy stage, he seemed very nervous. He seemed very awkward. He seemed like it wasn't well rehearsed. To me, it sounded more like he was groveling to her, not actually to the Grammys. I don't I don't know what they're called, the Grammy people. And he was like, I don't want to embarrass this young lady right here. Sir, you mean your wife, Beyonce? Like, that was also a weird term or a weird, way to say Beyonce. Like, I don't want to embarrass this young lady right here. That's how I would speak to someone that I didn't know. Like, "Oh, excuse me, I don't wanna embarrass this young lady. Like, I don't know her name, I'm being respectful, and I don't really know this person." That's not a term of endearment for the mother of your 3 children who you've been with for over a decade. Boy, sir, sit by. It was so weird, it was so bizarre. And it's giving Kanye vibes, where they look it's a diff and this is the thing. What I mean by nervous Kanye vibes, Jay-Z to me didn't look and sound like his normal self. He is usually very steady. It's usually like a ha ha ha, like, he has like a little he has a very tempered cadence. His energy is very usually low vibe. It's very like da-dun, da-dun, it's very chill. What I saw on stage was a man unraveling. And when it happened to Kanye, that was kind of the beginning of the end for Kanye too. And we all know what's going on with Kanye now. It's just a hot, scary mess, okay? So to me, Jay-Z looked like a man who was about to lose it all. I don't think his speech had anything to do about Grammys. I think his speech is a man on the verge of collapse. Now, there has been rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z have separated, that they've been separated for a while, that their marriage is nothing but a PR stunt. It's a PR brand. Like she said, this is what happens when there's $1 billion on an elevator. When the whole thing with Solange was beat Jay-Z up in the elevator for allegedly cheating on Beyonce, and her response was like, things go down when there's $1 billion in an elevator. And basically their whole marriage and the kids and B&J is basically this power couple $1 billion brand that they were not willing to give up simply because he was cheating and being unfaithful, and according to Solange, allegedly very controlling of her. Now, where I land on that, and then I'm going to show you this like little 3-part series I found. I, in my gut, think that Jay-Z and Beyonce did love each other. I do think he was probably controlling, but I also think that she was also very strong-willed, particularly when it came to her career. I think that he was cheating. I think she may have dipped out, but only after he did. The whole Lemonade thing was also great marketing. Whether it was true or not, that was great marketing. Lemonade the whole album was really when Beyonce went from leaving Destiny's Child to Queen Bee, because everybody was trauma bonding with her. Not me, but I personally think a big reason why Lemonade was such a success was because a lot of people trauma bonded with being the woman who is long suffering, cheated on, scorned, but I'm gonna stick beside him. And I think very similar to what happened with Scandival. I think a lot of people trauma bonded with Lemonade, but they didn't have the awareness to understand what was going on. And that was great, brilliant marketing. That was basically when Queen Bey was born. Now, was she doing it through some spiritual stuff with her shrine to Oshun? And this isn't me. This is what she has said in her own lyrics. She says she harnesses Oshun energy. Oshun is I'm not going to say god or goddess because I don't believe they are. I'll say deity or entity or something like that people worship and sacrifice to and have shrines to. It's a whole thing. Look it up. Google it. This isn't me saying this about her. This is out there. So I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to conjure anything or call in anything. No, thank you. The door is closed. Look it up yourself. But right after that was when Queen Bey was born. Look it up. So do I think that the image of Beyonce would be what it is today if she had left him? No. I think the fact that they stayed together is what made them this power couple, billion-dollar brand, trauma bonding with the world. Well, if Bey and Jay-Z can stick through it, we can stick through it too. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it would not have had the same effect if she actually had self-respect, self-esteem, self-worth, and left him. Because as quiet as it's kept, the media and the agenda pretends to like a strong, self-respecting women, but they actually don't. They actually don't. And I think that if she actually was a self-respecting woman and actually knew her worth and left him, I'm not talking about a tangible money level. I'm talking about the intangible worthiness and value of a human being. I don't think she would be as revered as she is today. Why I think the stuff about them separating and splitting and divorcing might be true now is very similar to like an Erica Jane Girardi. When the walls are about to close in, what does the wife do? All of a sudden, let's get divorced. I don't know him. I don't know what he does. I don't know what his business is. I don't know him, because word on the street is that Jay-Z is going to be the next one to be exposed. We've had Puff Daddy, TD Jakes, all these people. You just look it up. Word on the street, Puff is pissed. And he's like, I didn't do this dirt by myself. If R. Kelly, I'm not going down by myself. Now, let's watch this 3-part series I found and let me know what you guys think, okay? Put it down below.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. You know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him.
Honey, the day of reckoning is finally here with us, y'all. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're both locked in a private battle behind the scenes that may lead to divorce. Both of their teams are allegedly leaking information about what's going on, with Beyonce's team saying that she's the one pulling the plug, and Jay-Z's team saying he is the one who is fed up with the relationship. Regardless of who is pulling the plug, the bottom line is a divorce is on the way, allegedly. So according to what most people have observed, you can clearly see in their eyes that Jay-Z and Beyonce are not in love, especially when it comes to Beyonce. It's like she's not into him anymore and there's really no spark in her eyes. In fact, many people are of the opinion that when Beyonce is with Jay-Z, and you know what has fueled the rumors of a separation even further? The speech that Jay-Z gave at the Grammys.
I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work.
Apparently, the look on Beyonce's face said it all, and there were even reports after the speech that Beyonce was embarrassed and just wanted to leave. Actually, videos from the award ceremony showed that the Carters left right after the speech because Beyonce was allegedly uncomfortable. Child, I hate to break it down to y'all, but according to recent reports, this marriage has allegedly been broken for a long time. In fact, there have been reports claiming that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been living separately for a while now. And the rift probably happened sometime before 2014. Of course, y'all recall that after the Met Gala in 2014, footage surfaced of Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles seemingly attacking Jay in an elevator at an after party. And the rumor was that she attacked her brother-in-law because he cheated on Beyonce. At the time, the family released the following statement. There has been a great deal of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate incident, but the most important thing is that our family has worked through it. Jay and Solange each assume their share of responsibility for what has occurred. They both acknowledge their role in the private matter that has played out in the public. That is what they fed the public. But behind the scenes, things were apparently not good at all. Like Beyonce's cousins even said at the time that she was so
So that was part one. And then we're going to watch part two in a second. But I kind of believe this because it just makes sense. And don't forget, there was also the, what do you call it? The rumors that Beyonce was hooking up with her security guard, I think it was. There was rumors she was hooking up with a security guard. And then also, and again, I don't want to dive too deep on this on my channel, but there was also the fact that there was a restraining order against Beyonce from one of her drummers. And the drummer basically was saying that Beyonce was harassing her and that she was doing witchcraft and all of this crazy stuff. I don't want to dive too deep on those things. And again, I'm not calling it anything. There's no, like, we're surrounded by love and light over here. But I just want to put that out there for part two and part three. So here we go.
Mother Wanda hooked up with Jay-Z in 1992 at his aunt's apartment in Brooklyn, New York, after Jay first picked her up in Philadelphia. And the story is that they used protection, but it failed. And other than a visit from him 2 weeks later, they never saw each other again. And she had no idea how to contact Jay-Z when she found out she was pregnant. In 2011, Wanda even filed a civil lawsuit in New Jersey seeking child support from Jay. But the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed because it was filed in the wrong state and was never refiled. At the time, Jay-Z's lawyer also stated that Jay was not an interested party with respect to the custody of Ramir. And since then, it's been a long battle for Ramir trying to get Jay-Z to do a paternity test. But Jay has never agreed to one. Now, according to Ramir, Jay-Z has been using his wealth and power to avoid taking a paternity test. And he revealed how he was denied a fair hearing in court because of legal mistakes and malpractice. He's even gone for his own lawyers, accusing them of colluding with Jay-Z's legal team to help him get out of taking the test.
These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion, who knows what it's for, money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the and we did nothing wrong.
Okay, riddle me this. What reason would Jay have to hide a child he had so long ago? He wasn't even known like that back then. And his first album hadn't even been released. So what image was there to protect? And how would him having a child back then mess up his image? Well, guess what? It's possible that Jay-Z is denying the allegations because when he allegedly hooked up with Wanda, he was 22 and she was 6 years younger. Do the math and you'll understand why he refuses to have that DNA test done. Wanda's age when she hooked up with Jay-Z is actually something that Wanda's godmother noted when she said, "I got a call from his in-house lawyer and they were very helpful and we thought we would resolve this privately." They even talked about Ramir's music talent and whether it was a good time to put him on the record label, but he had to finish high school, so I said no. Suddenly, different lawyers got involved and their attitude completely changed. I think they realized there was more at stake for Sean, given that Wanda was allegedly underage. Now, y'all know, even before Diddy's cases were made public, there were interviews behind the scenes for about a year, and the things that were made public were not even half of what happened. In Cassie's case particularly, Jay-Z and Beyonce were mentioned in the original document, and I don't know in what context, but they were edited out of the lawsuit. So it's possible that as we speak, there are already interviews and cases being put together, and if word on the street is anything to go by, Beyonce won't be by his side when things go down. Counting the days before the first official case against him drops?
Yeah. So again, alleged. So basically what they're saying is Jay-Z may have been dipping it and doing it with underage girls. And that is why he does not want to take the paternity test with this young man who has a very similar nose to him. Let me just put that there. Yes, justice for MIA, 100%. Russell Simmons, shout out to everybody in the chat box. Yeah, 2024 has been the year of the reveal, and we're not even done with February yet. So everybody, look, if you got some skeletons in your closet, you might as well clean them out yourself. It is the year of the reveal. So it would make sense just from a pure strategic standpoint if Beyonce would want to break up with him now and distance herself from him now. Now, in my opinion, I always think that the spouse knows. If the husband is dirty, I think the wife knows. If the wife is dirty, I think the husband knows. Do I think they necessarily heavily participate, whether it is fraud or whether it is these weird parties where allegedly, certain things go down without people's consent or exploitation or trafficking or all of these very dark and evil things? The level of participation, I don't know. But do I think there is knowledge? 100%. And that's just my opinion on the situation. Let's bring it back to Housewives. Like Jen Shaw. Do I think Coach Shaw was in on the scam? I do. With Tom Girardi and Erica Girardi. Do I think Erica Girardi was in on the scam? I do. Teresa Giudice and Joe Giudice. Do I think Teresa was in on the scam? I do. I think the spouse always knows. Their level of involvement may vary to either heavily involved to not so much involved, but knowledge of, knock it off. Now, when it comes to entertainment industry with these actors and athletes and musicians and huge people, I think they all participate. I'm not going to get too deep into what I think that participation means, but I think they participate. I think that's how they got to where they're at. But I'm just going to leave that right there because, again, I'm not trying to get too far deep into any rabbit hole. But let's watch part 3.
Close to filing a divorce. Then in 2016, Bey dropped Lemonade, which was literally a breakup album. But it really looked like they worked things out, with Beyonce giving Jay-Z shout-outs here and there. But again, behind the scenes, things were reportedly not so good, even though they had their twins soon after. Maybe the kids were supposed to mend things, but we all know what happens when people decide to have babies as a solution to a broken marriage. Baby, it never ends well. Now, Jay-Z and Beyonce have been able to keep up appearances for all these years, but reportedly that's going to be hard moving forward because Jay is up next to be exposed, the Diddy style, y'all. In case y'all haven't heard, insiders are saying that Diddy has no intention of going down alone. As a matter of fact, he has allegedly started snitching Jay-Z. These two have been always pretty close until recently when Diddy was exposed, but with Diddy allegedly snitching on him, it's not looking good in Jay's camp. What you need to know, guys, is that Jay-Z is not young. So that means that a lot of the things he did in the past are not on social media. That's why he's managed to keep things quiet this far. But it does not mean that people have not been spilling the tea. Let me tell y'all something. The first person who we expect to expose Jay is reportedly his dear wife, Beyonce, probably after the divorce becomes public. For starters, the timeline of when they started dating has always been sus. Well, Beyonce said in interviews that she was 18 when they first met and 19 when they first started dating. But based on folks who were around back in the day, Jay started hooking up with Beyonce when she was much younger, as young as Foxy Brown, when he hooked up with her.
This was allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right, I'll say alleged, but we know. Yeah, she hit it before Beyonce. Allegedly.
Sometime back, there were allegations that Jay took Fox's V card when he was 27 and she was in her teens, and he funded her shopping trips all while paying for her hair and nail salon visits while she was still in high school. See, the thing about Jay-Z is that he pays to keep things hidden from the headlines. With Beyonce, he married her, but with Foxy, there have been reports that he still pays her to keep the details of what happened between them a secret, which would explain why, when Foxy was questioned about the true nature of their relationship, she told TMZ, "The atrociousness of this story sickened me to my stomach. Any and everyone involved will be contacted by my attorney. In all my years in the music industry, these are the most disgusting and disrespectful allegations I've ever experienced. This fictitious story with no audio, visual, or written interview clearly was concocted with malicious intent." But you know who Jay-Z has been unable to pay off? Rymir Satterthwaite's family. Baby, Rymir has been trying for almost a decade to try and get Jay-Z to take a paternity test to prove he is his father. But apparently, Jay-Z used his power and influence to block that paternity test. Based on what Rymir spilled.
Yeah. Ooh. So what do you guys believe? Do you think that Jay-Z and Beyonce have been happily married ever since Lemonade and they got all of the couples counseling he talked about in his interviews and they were able to come back together? Or do you think, nah, they have been a PR marriage for, just like Beyonce said herself, the billion-dollar brand? And now that that billion-dollar brand is threatened, Beyonce is about to jump ship. To me, that makes the most sense. I think Beyonce will jump ship because I think before him is her. Do you know what I mean? I think that she stayed with him, maybe not so much because she loved him. Sure, she may love him, but I think people who get to levels like a Beyonce, they make their persona and their brand their number one. And so I think now that that is threatened by staying with him, she will leave him. Do I think she's going to turn against him in the sense of spilling all of his tea? No, I don't think that Beyonce is going to say anything publicly because she doesn't really talk like in general. Like, when do you ever really hear her speak? Not very often. And then also, she doesn't really talk publicly about anything. She never responds. She never really talks publicly. I think it will all be done through PR. It'll be done through anonymous press releases, sources to media outlets, but I don't think any of it will be Beyonce out of her own mouth ever. But I think in order to save herself, she's jumping ship. Do I think she's innocent? In my personal opinion, no. I think she was involved in and knew of and participated in all of it. I do. Now, that's just my opinion. Bayhive, leave me alone. Don't come for me. If you don't like what I'm saying, click off to the next, okay? Don't come for me, Bayhive. This is nothing against Beyonce personally. This is just my opinion observing human behavior and common sense. Right now, I think she is in self-preservation mode. Another reason why I think this is true, and I think that Beyonce is because when everything came out with Diddy and Cassie, I think it was a little bit too convenient that the narrative was like, Beyonce helped Cassie too, Kim Porter, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I've never seen Beyonce and Cassie in a photo ever. I've never seen Beyonce and Kim Porter in a photo ever. I've never seen Beyonce in a photo with other women other than Kelly Rowland. That hasn't been a very strategic photo op. I've never seen Beyonce have any female friends other than her sister and Kelly. So do I think Beyonce helped Cassie? No. Do I think that is her team thinking 25 steps ahead of the media? Yes. I think they planted that because again, I think everything we know about Diddy is because the powers that be, whatever you want to call those powers, whoever you think those powers are, I don't know, allowed it to happen. Because just like a Thomas Girardi, just like anybody, people don't run any type of scheme, whether it is an SA or a violent or trafficking or, exploiting people, sex, fraud for decades without higher people allowing it to happen. But when your card comes up, when your name is called, then those same powers that be are going to be the same people to take you down. Because you don't get away with it and you don't profit from it for decades in a vacuum. It is a system. It's an industry. It's basically like organized crime. It's a system. It's systematic. And we may think these Diddys and Tom Girardis and these Beyoncés are the highest of the highs, but who is writing their checks? Those are the real people in power. And so the only reason why these people are being exposed is because the people who are truly in power are allowing it to happen. For whatever reason, maybe it's a changing of the guard. I don't know. For whatever reason, maybe the veil is getting thinner. I don't know. For whatever reason. So I do think it's strategy that all of a sudden Beyonce, who I've never seen her truly support any other female, if we're being honest, other than a lip service. I want all my dancers to be women and all my artists to be women, all my, music people to be women. Okay, that's great PR. That's great. Cool. But when has she ever mentored someone? When has she ever put somebody on? When has she ever had female friends? All of a sudden, she's helping Cassie? That's a bunch of crock. I think they're going to try to save Beyonce, but but his time is about to be up. That's why he was at the Grammys looking like Kanye West, about to lose his damn mind. I don't want to embarrass this young lady, and the math ain't mathing, and you guys got to make sure things are. I was like, what the? Even his daughter was looking at him like, well, Blue Ivy was even shook. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. He was looking like a man who was all out of sorts. That didn't look like $1 billion brand to me, Jay. That looked like a man who knew his time was a tickety ticky boom boom up. That's why he was up there at the Grammys looking like a broke down Kanye. Because he knows, for whatever reason, maybe they stopped paying, maybe it's a changing of the guard. I don't know. But the time is up. The time is up. But it seems to me like the powers that be are going to try to save Beyonce. But Jay-Z, I don't want to say sacrifice, because I think he was a willing participant, but I think his time might be up. That's why all his little soldiers around him are falling. The TD Jakes, the Tyler Perrys, the Russell Simmons, the R. Kellys, the P. Diddy's, If all of your soldiers are falling, it's only a matter of time before the head person falls too. So I'm just going to leave that there. I don't know. Bayhive, don't come for me. I'm not sending for you. This is not the conversation for you. If you are a cult-like person, if you are a Kool-Aid drinking person, this isn't for you. These are for people who are their own minds, who think for themselves, who speak for themselves, have their own discernment, and they worship no man on this planet. This is the content for that person. Okay? So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Jay-Z and Beyonce, the time's up? Jay is about to be exposed, and Beyonce is like, I don't know him. Don't come from my bag. Don't come from my public image. Leave me alone. I'm going to go over here and do some country doodle-doo stuff. Leave me out of it. Again, even I think Beyonce now all of a sudden doing country. I even think that is PR strategy. The whole rebrand of Beyonce and country now. I think that's nothing but PR. I think her team is very, very smart, very, very strategic. You don't become $1 billion brand by accident, Or do you think, no, they're happy campers and Jay just had a moment, a little bit of too much, whatever at the Grammys, but they're fine. Let me know what you guys think. Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to Kyle Richards.